Most videos talk about the cardio side when it comes to getting fit for riding and racing. But the truth is, strength is equally as important, if not more important than the cardio side. The reason it's more important for motocross races is because you've got a 100 kilo bike. So if you're weighing 90 kilos and you've got a bike at 100, that's a total of 190 kilos. If you're doing 20-minute or half an hour motos, that's 190 kilos that you need to wrestle around for 20 to 30 minutes. So the stronger you can get yourself during the week, the lighter you can get the bike to feel. If you can get the bike and your weight to feel a lot lighter, you're going to use a lot less energy at the start of the race. If you can get yourself using a lot less energy at the start of the race, you're going to have a lot more energy in your race tank to be able to last for the end of the race, which means more consistent motos, faster motos, and hopefully better results on race day. So in this video, I'm going to show you my top 3 strength exercises that are strength exercises specific for riding and racing, not for getting you big, not for getting you muscly, not for doing anything else, only for getting you strong out on the bike.
So this is how you perform a back squat. So essential materials that you will need is you'll need a squat rack, you'll need a straight weight bar, and preferably some weights that can go on each end so that you can actually get yourself stronger. So first of all, I'm going to demonstrate the back squat for you. So I've got the bar up on the top and our shoulder blades. We use our legs to come out of the squat rack, we shuffle back, and then what we're going to do is make sure our feet are at about between hip and shoulder width. And what we're going to do is we're going to push the hips back and then bend with the knees, okay? And then we're going to reverse that on the way up. So hips back, bend with the knees, okay? Hips back, bend with the knees. We'll do one more, hips back, bend with the knees. And then we come up. Then as we come in, we shuffle back in, we use our legs to put the bar back in the rack, and that's how we perform a back squat. So key things that you want to remember when you're doing this is we're activating your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes. So it's important to make sure that we're using a weight that's light enough to allow us to go deep enough to actually use these muscle groups. Because when we're on the bike and we're in the attack position, we're using our quads, our hamstrings, and our glutes, and we're using them as we go from sitting on the seat to a standing position. So sitting on the seat, standing position. So it's very important with the squat to make sure that we're actually going deep enough to really engage these muscle groups, get the most out of the exercise to help you out on the bike.
Next exercise we want to use is the deadlift. So again, you'll need a bar and some weights on each end. We're going to pull the weight up to a standing position, making sure that we're keeping our back nice and straight, and also making sure that we're keeping the bar in nice and close to our body. So it should be tracking and hitting all the hairs up your legs on the way up. That's how close it should be. So the reason the deadlift's important to incorporate with the squat is because it focuses on different muscle groups, even though they're all being used in these exercises. So when we're on the bike and we're riding and we're in the attack position, okay, we've got our quads, our hamstrings, and our glutes all working really, really well. When we're doing the squat, which we just did before, that's focusing more on the quads and more of the front of your legs and a little bit on the other muscle groups. When we're doing the deadlift, it's focusing more on the hamstrings and the glutes. We still use our quads, but just not as much. So it's important if you want all around lower body strength when you're on the bike, we want to be incorporating both exercises into your training each week. The third exercise we want to incorporate is the bent over row. So we need a bar and some weights again. We're going to deadlift the bar up to a standing position. And then what we're going to do is keeping our back nice and straight, we're going to push our hips back until we get the bar up to where our knees. What we're going to do then is we're going to pull into our belly button. So we're pulling our elbows back, bar into the belly button, nice controlled movement, okay? The reason this is an important exercise is because when you're on the bike, you're in the attack position and the bar and the bike are moving backwards and forwards like this. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we get these big powerhouse lats, these big muscle groups working out on the bike. For most people, they don't work very well, which is why they tend to sit down a little bit more. They get a lot more load through their back. So the more we can get that upper back working, the more we can get the big powerhouse muscle groups doing most of the work on the bike, which will allow you to ride harder for longer periods of time. If you need help with your fitness and nutrition specifically for riding and racing, apply for my Faster Laps program below.